How do you know when a piece of music is truly good? Like, say you're working with a band who's putting out a new album, you've heard their new collection of tracks. What is that moment like when you hear it? It washes over you. It's almost euphoric because you know you've got something special and now you get to promote it.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's it. I mean, I'm just like you. We're just like everybody else that's out there. You listen to not only do I listen to my bands for the first time, whether it's in a demo stage or anything else, but I'm really upfront with the bands when they want to give me something that's not mastered or mixed or in the demo stage. It's like, I'll tell you what I think, but I have no idea. Like, I wouldn't know what mastering or mixing would do to this song. So when I'm listening to the radio, whether it's KEXP or The Current or whatever Spotify tells me that I should like, or anything else, or CBC or Sirius XM, it's just one of the things that it's like, I think I'm slowing down my work just a little bit while I'm listening to it, because my brain is like, shut up, stop working. But I'm like everything. I'm like everybody else that's out there. I would never dream of even thinking that I know what a hit is. I have no idea what a hit is. I do know, though, that nobody asked for the Beatles. And I know that nobody asked for Jimi Hendrix or the Sex Pistols or Nirvana, or nobody asked for Bieber or Ariana Grande or Drake or The Weeknd. It's just so many other things have to happen correctly for it to all work, to get music to more than 5 or 10 or 15 people at once. To me, it's everything. It's not just really about the song, but it's about the video. If the artist is going to create a real official video, that's amazing. If they give me a lyric video or a static JPEG of the album cover on YouTube, it's not going to go viral. So that means that other things have to be in place. Do you have a manager? Do you have a booking agent? Do you have a record label? How long have you been doing this for? Is this your first single? Is this your third single? Is it your 50th album that you've put together? All of those things almost go hand in hand with me listening to the music. It's weird because
Yeah.
it's almost like, a really great video can make a bad song better. And the rest of the team and parts of the puzzle for success in the music industry make a song better as well. But for me, it's exactly what you said. It's that stopped moment where you're like, oh, this is really good. Who is this? I'm going to go look him up on Spotify and then listen to that song 10,000 times until I get bored of it and then move on to the next shiny object.
Right. Yeah, I'd love to get your thoughts on this too. Like, for many music lovers, including myself, there is this fascination with like a front man or a front woman of a band. To me, Gord Downey was everything. I'm a huge
Yeah.
hip fan. It's really important to have a front man or woman be truly unique on stage, someone who captivates or holds the audience's attention, right, in a compelling way. Obviously, that must have fascinated you in your own way.
Yeah. Oh my God. I fell in love with Michael Hutchence of In Excess, and I'm heterosexual. I can only imagine what he was doing to the women in the audience. Like it was it. I remember talking to In Excess a while afterwards, and the keyboardist and guy who wrote pretty much all of the songs once said to me, he was like, it doesn't matter if the keyboardist or drummer has a degree in microbiology or philosophy. Everybody's going to want to know what the lead singer had to think about the politics of the day.
Yeah.
And it was so true. So yeah, the lead singer, I mean, I'm still an abashedly Phil Collins fan because, he led Genesis and that was my all-time favorite group. Or falling in love, like emotionally, like with Michael Stipe from REM. I mean, these guys were all, charismatic. They were smart. They were funny. They were, good looking. They had that undescribable it. But then, you realize about, groups, like the Go-Go's or the Pretenders or the Bangles growing up, or even now with Haim, it's yeah, the front person, is everything, and it's funny because the cliche is always like, it's Adam Levine from Maroon 5 and who cares about anybody else in the band, but even Adam Levine would say, look, like you take away this person in the band and the whole band changes and stuff. So it was always so important to have a really great one. But I think that that's always changing too. I don't know if if the rise of the solo artist is, especially in the last number of years, because you look at the chart, there are very few groups on there. There's very few bands on there, except for, if you go to the rock charts, then it's bands. Or if you go to, maybe the pop charts, it's all solo artists. But then it was always kind of like that anyway. So yeah, my love of music in the 80s and 90s, we're always watching and being fascinated with somebody like a Kurt Cobain or Chris Cornell or Ian from the Stone Roses or Noel and Liam from Oasis. It was everything. You've got a great front person. You're almost halfway there.
Right. I'll end on this. Your social media presence has been raved about for years now. It becomes apparent right away that if you're following Eric Alper online, you're going to be educated, you're going to be intrigued, but you're always putting smiles on people's faces. Is it all about positivity for you? Because it certainly seems that way.
Except yesterday when I think I landed in a little bit of hot water with people posting about politics. But other than that, and it's funny because in the 13 years, 9 years, something like that, since 2000, I rarely talked about politics because I never wanted to divide my audience. But with what's going on, I had to. I got that endorphins into my brain that for a couple of moments said, yes, your audience needs to know how you feel about what's going on. And the fact is that they don't. Nobody cares about what anybody thinks except for a handful of people that are so important to the world at large anyway. But yeah, I always saw social media for good. I saw it not just for promotion of your own self or your own artist, but you can promote everything. And, to the disgruntlement of people that I worked with who were sometimes not happy that I was promoting the competition and things. But for me, it was all about the love of music and promoting. And my daughter does the same thing. When she wanted to get on social media, the first rule was, you've got to use it for good. You can't argue. You don't use it for, dividing and decisiveness, and realize that no matter what you post, there's going to be people who are going to disagree with you, and you don't have to care about them. I care about them because they're part of this planet, but I don't care if you don't like what I post. And I don't care really if you want to get into an argument with me, because I'm not going to do it. Because even though that I read all the comments, when people say, how come you can ask all those questions, but you never comment? It's because they're there. Everybody's there for everybody else's entertainment, because I'm reading the answers, because I love reading the answers. It doesn't necessarily mean that I want to get into a battle with somebody because somebody thinks that I've left somebody off the list for something. I just don't care. This is just really, I can't tell you how many messages I've received in the last 6 months alone saying, your stream is the only one I go to every day to get me away from what is going on in the world. And that's amazing. I love reading that, but knowing full well that, dude, you're not Jesus. You're not Bob Dylan. You're not a sage. It's fun. I don't know what I would do without it, because I feel like, look, my wife is incredibly happy that I don't need to tell her what the fourth line of that Bob Dylan song really means. So she's thrilled that I have an outlet for it. And so am I. I've met a lot of really amazing people like you and other people in, across this country and around the world. And it's a lot of fun to share music. So why not?
Well, yeah, it's a very difficult time these days, obviously. But, the fact that you're so genuine all the time, you mentioned getting into a little bit of hot water. It's about being, it's about humanity right now. It's about common decency more than ever before. So
yeah, and everybody's got a little bit of a trigger figure right now, anyway. So
yeah, and so many of us appreciate how genuine and humble you are. So
thanks, Mike.
I really love how passionate you are about everything. It's always like your passion is uncontrollable in a sense that it's always bouncing off the walls, and it's just the most engaging thing. So I've been a big fan for a long time, and thanks so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And thank you for all you do as well.